just about got it right. Oh, well, no, there we go. Now it is right. Good evening. It is 7 o'clock straight up on the East Coast. I am Dave Glovin, and this is Boogie with the Bull Uncensored. We come on in the evening because what we have for you tonight is important. We have on the far right or far left of your screen, depending on how you're looking at it, we have Dr. Sandy Miarecki, who is the National Secretary of State, and we have in the middle Derek Arnold, who is the New Hampshire Justice from an organization called Republic for the USA. And that's what we're talking about tonight. People are welcome to throw questions in, and we will try to get to them, or we'll just do them all at once, however it goes. We're just really mellow here. So, Sandy, you're up first.
Well, hi. Hi, everybody. Nice to be back.
It's a pleasure to have you back.
So I guess I should probably talk a little bit about the Republic.
A little bit about it.
This is I think, second time I've been on your show. Is that correct?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so folks can go back and find the old podcast, or I'll give you a little snippet of what we covered last time, and then we'll go over some stuff here and answer questions, whatever comes up in the chats.
Okay.
So let's see, we'll just start off with, we all know that our founding fathers gave us a republic. That was actually the second attempt at a government. We had the Articles of Confederation. We were a confederation or federation for our first attempt, and it didn't work. And so the founding fathers went back to the drawing board, came out of a Continental Congress with the Constitution. And that's what gave us an actual republic. And so we've had one since basically 1789, when that was ratified by the Congress, and we had our first Congress. So then we lost the republic. And there's a long story, of course, that goes along with that, and books that are written about it, two of which are what we consider to be our history books for the Republic, which is Re-Inhabited by Jean and David Hertler. And those are excellent deep dives for anyone who wants more information about anything that I'm going to talk about. So it was a slow progress of Freemason infiltration, bar attorney infiltration, and Jesuits and other secret societies that took down our republic slowly over time. We were tricked into fighting a civil war against each other. And then that was 1861-ish. And then 1871 was the nail in the coffin when we had the Organic Act of 1871. And that essentially turned Washington, D.C. into a corporation and kicked out the republic, hijacked it, made it dormant, abandoned, however you want to look at it. So it stayed that way, and it has been that way, and it still was that way until recently. So now we fast forward to the JFK timeframe, and of course we've got all the things that happened to us, took all of our freedoms away, the fraudulent 14th Amendment, and that enslaved everybody. So they were saying that it was explaining how slavery was gone and everyone was free, but it in fact enslaved all of us as a U.S. citizen, little c, and that's how we all got stuck. Then came Federal Reserve, then came IRS, then came Social Security, then came a whole bunch of different things that just slowly took away our rights. We didn't know any better. We were dumbed down.
We were.
And our so-called Department of Education just destroyed our society. So we ended up with a corporate crime syndicate, which is what I call what's going on today, or a mafia. That would be a more accurate description, pretending to be our government. That's why you don't see anyone with an actual oath of office. You don't see anyone with the bond, the insurance bond that everyone's supposed to carry when they hold an office according to law. And so now you're up to JFK. When he gets assassinated by his own government, colluding with the mafia, the real mafia, and the three-letter agencies, CIA in particular, George H.W. Bush was there that day, helping to orchestrate it. Then you've come across a bunch of military officers, generals primarily, both retired and active duty, saying, we got to do something about this or we're going to lose our whole dang country. And so they start forming what I believe was called the Army of Virginia. And they started to organize. They didn't know what they were going to do. They just knew they had to do something. And so they started to find other military people who were just as patriotic and knew something was seriously wrong. And by the 1970s or so, they had enough folks where they could start figuring out a plan. Around the early 1980s, and these folks, by the way, we would today call the white hats, okay, or the good guy military.
Okay.
So they asked Donald Trump in the early 80s, probably, to be the president at some future date. Didn't know exactly. They had an idea because they kind of had a plan going. And he said yes. And so the whole rest of the plan now was waiting for that time frame to come because they knew what the cabal's plan was. This corporate crime syndicate, they knew what they were eventually going to do, what they were actually had to do in order to try to destroy the country completely and take it over. Obama was the first phase. Hillary Clinton was the second phase. That didn't get to happen because Trump actually won that election. That was 2016. Because the white hats came to him and said, probably 2014 timeframe, okay, we're ready, sir. We need you to run for office in 2016. And he said, okay. So then he petitioned, filed the papers, Republican Party and all that stuff, and gets on the ballot. And the cheaters had calculated how much they needed to cheat, probably did a little extra, just to make sure that Hillary would win, as always, because every election has been cheating since the beginning. Well, since at least 1871. And so, but they miscalculated. Or what I think happened, because it happened later, is they stopped enough of the cheating that was going to happen so that Trump would win, like he was going to win. Not that they made him win, but they stopped enough of the cheating so that he won fair and square. Let's say it that way.
Okay.
So that's that side of it.
All right.
So now, in the meantime, in parallel, around November of 2008, we know exactly, some of these white hat military approached a group of patriots called the Restore America Plan, RAP. And they said pretty much what I just told you is the story they told us, and that's been passed down, and now I'm telling it to you. And they said, we need you to restore the republic because that is an essential part of this plan. We have other pieces in play, but the military will not be able to act when the time comes, except if we have a lawful civil authority, just like our Constitution says that we have to have. We will not be a military dictatorship. And so that would be in violation, total violation of their oath to the Constitution. And of course, everything that they had done since the 1960s has been according to law and the Constitution. So we said, well, we'll darn well try. Go read the Re-inhabited books, volume 2 in particular, about how we did that. Okay. And so by November of 2010, a grassroots approach, county level, formed first, state level, appointed governor, secretary of state, etc. And then they had their quorum of states that they could finally have what we, I guess we would call another Continental Congress. And they met in Ephraim, Utah. And on November 14th of 2010, with a quorum of states represented, we signed what's called the Declaration of Sovereign Intent unanimously, like 400 or 500 people. How many times have you ever heard that in history, right? Where it was unanimous?
Never.
So God's hand was all over this event.
Good.
And that put the republic back on the map. Okay. So we call it re-inhabited because all of our research showed that the republic wasn't abolished. It was not destroyed. It was just abandoned. It was still there on paper, but there were no bodies in the seats because they had all shifted over to corporate representations. So Trump, when he was elected into office, was elected as the CEO of corporate USA Inc. And that's what he keeps saying. We have to restore the republic. We have to restore the republic. Give the government back to the people. He knows, because he's part of the White Hat plan, just like we are. And so we brought all of our paperwork that we had filed with the UN and all the places you have to do in international law. And we brought that to two of the generals that we had a pretty good idea were associated with, or at least in the White Hats, showed them everything we had done. And they spent a whole day combing over that and determined at the end that we had done it lawfully, constitutionally, and we had reestablished the republic. And we were the first.
Okay.
And that's how it's been ever since, except when we get really close to having all the states reestablished and refilled, re-inhabited, infiltrators come in and try to do damage to us. And they usually knock out a few of our governors or whatever. They get tricked. And following what we call now the splinter group, which has splintered off, broken off from the original republic, and are saying things like, oh, we're doing it wrong and all that. It's like, we've been doing it the same way the whole time, following the Constitution and all lawful laws passed under it.
And I would imagine that the splinter group is not. The splinter group is probably more with the corporation that is running us.
Well,
now.
We have pretty strong evidence that they are being run by and manipulated by corporate three-letter agencies.
Okay.
FBI, CIA in particular is what we think, because one of the folks that's in that group used to be in our group and probably went through an MK Ultra or similar kind of program. And he has a handler now that lives with him 100% of the time. And so when you think about it and you read, what do you know about MK Ultra? Wheel. Who runs that program? The CIA.
That's true.
What is the CIA's #1 mission? Overthrowing foreign governments.
That's correct.
What is the republic to the corporation?
A foreign government.
And there you have our thought process. So
What a mess.
that's where we are today. But every time we have this kind of infiltration, we are losing the folks that don't have the proper discernment to stick with us.
Okay.
That's basically how we look at it, right? Because if you go to your Bible, Judges chapter 7, and it'll talk about Gideon and his army and how God told Gideon how to test his people, 32,000 men, to get only the 300 that God needed for that mission. So there were 3 basic tests or 3 basic questions kind of thing, right? And he got his 300 and they went off and won the battle that God needed them to do. What's interesting is there's 8 positions in every state: governor, secretary of state, 2 senators, 1 house, 3 justices. That's our basic structure per state. There's 50 states. That means 400. So are we Gideon's army of 400? You could look at it that way. Yeah. And so we're all being tested every day.
Right.
We're all being toughened. We're all being trained. And that's where we're at today. So.
Okay. And Mr. Arnold, would you like to introduce yourself? Oh. You're waving around to grab your tablet.
He's got a weak signal,
Can you hear me
apparently.
all right, Dave?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Phone as well,
It's
fine.
okay in
I'm looking for
America.
questions. So anybody watching, if you want,
I've got the
I'm on
questions pulled
YouTube.
up, so we're
so if you're on YouTube watching, if you want to post questions in the comments.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can
I'm
you hear
happy
me?
to
It sounds like
receive
I have
any questions.
a delay.
No, I've got you.
A little one.
Yeah, you might have
Am I
minor
okay?
one, but you're, yeah. Yes.
Well, we don't know, like, if you are okay, but yeah, we can hear you okay.
This is true. Is anyone okay? But,
I don't think
we're
I'm
going
okay,
to talk
but-
about.
try my
Okay.
best. So
We are
I'm
ready.
a
Somebody's
intern,
coming in, but
temporary with no power, but running parallel with the corporation until the military takes them down and stands us up. Position. I was affirmed in on 10th, 2024 as a interim state justice for New Hampshire. New Hampshire's in a great position. We're working on our 5th county, which is how many counties we had when New Hampshire became a state.
okay.
So we're trying to fulfill the duty to get those out with. All counties actually have to be stood up, have to be seated. And seated meaning we call it the FAB. You know, you have the county clerk, county justice, bailiff, moderator, and scribe. Those are the 5 positions that see us as well. But the number one duty for us is to get our 8 state positions seated. And it's only temporary, guys. I have no intention to take a permanent seat, to hand the baton off to someone that's freely and fairly elected in constitutionally, which I've never experienced a fair and free constitutional election. Most of us haven't. And Sandy did mention that Donald Trump is the CEO of a corporation and he's a commander in chief. But we got to remember, even the military tied to the corporation, still corporation. So it's gonna have to transition into the republic. So how I see it is Donald is playing his part, doing his purpose for a controlled demolition from within for a smooth transition back, which anybody alive today, odds are, we have not, if we're alive today, we haven't experienced a true republic. So let's get that straight so everybody comprehends that, because we've all been bamboozled. This together, and Sandy will confirm this as well. This republic is God's republic. This is not Derek's republic. This is not Sandy's republic. This is not Dave's republic. But we're all invited to be part of God's plan. And this can only be one lawful republic. And we're the first in line. Sandy will also confirm. I don't want to keep going on my soapbox because it's not about me. I want Sandy to get the message out to everybody. She just broke it down pretty good, and she breaks it down great on any podcast she does. What I'm finding in the podcast world is a podcaster will bring on, and then I watch for a second visit from Sandy. And when I don't see that second visit and an invitation from a podcaster, I then put a question in place. What are their intention, and are they really truly for the republic? So that's the way I work when it comes to the podcast world. So it means a lot when I see a podcaster bring back on again, like John Dowling, you, Dave, Janique that Sandy just read the podcast with, and boy, that second one was great. And the tip he broke down was a real good tool. So anyways, I'm going to get the floor back to Sandy. Trying to think where we should go from here. Maybe you can explain in depth, Sandy, about the corporation, really how in depth this corporation has taken over all of us, and what the people can do to take their part in God's republic and and just do their part. You don't have to do your part. Just do your part. And I yield with that.
Just do your part.
Well, one of the things I wanted to piggyback on what Derek said was what happens when the republic is restored as in accordance with the plan, right? So he gave you a couple of details of that.
Mm-hmm.
The plan has always been that this re-inhabited republic, this is how you can tell it's us, is only the bridge. So bridging from the corporate crime syndicate that we're currently in over to the actual original republic. Okay.
How high up does it go in the government?
Say again?
How high up in the government does it go? Gerard K.
Okay,
Michael
so
is
I believe the
asking
question
for.
is asking how many levels of government have we re-inhabited? Maybe that's the a really good way to ask it.
Yep.
Well, we have a president, so however high you want to say, but the people are actually the highest.
Yes.
We are totally brainwashed and flipped over and reversed on how to think about this. We don't elect officials and then we go, well, I guess there are dictators now and they tell us what to do. No. If they start doing things you don't want, you remove them. It doesn't say how. It just says remove them. I'm not saying there's a specific way that we would do it. I'm just saying that we're waiting for the good guy military to do their part, as they said.
Right.
We're doing our part. Trump's doing his part. The military is doing their part. It's just going to take time. It's a process, right?
Yep.
So back to the bridge. So what we provide, as I already mentioned, is the lawful civil authority that allows the military to, so the president, who is James Geiger, that's who it is right now in this republic, to declare martial law. And the military steps in as law enforcement at every level. That's the first step when this republic is restored. Okay. Now we're talking about the interim people, Derek, me, President Geiger. Okay. And our main responsibility, first of all, is to be that lawful civil authority over the military. So they technically have to ask us for permission. We want to fill in the blank. Go arrest these people. Go whatever. Take down this. Go rescue these children. They have to tell us and say, Governor, what do you think? Because they're in that state of that governor in the republic.
Great.
And of course, the governor's going to say, press on, right? Go arrest everyone you want.
Right.
Because they have to have that, because otherwise their oath to the Constitution is violated, as I said before. Our main mission is to hold that first lawful election, the first republic election since at least 1860. We haven't had a republic election since before the Civil War. So we've never seen an actual republic election since 1860. No one alive, as Derek just said. And so we're going to do our darndest to give a free and fair, no machines, paper ballots only election. And we're working on just exactly how that's going to look. We expect a great deal of help from the good guy military. But it'll basically be, our Republic county clerk,
Right.
our Republic Secretary of State in each of the states, and me at the national level that will be working together to coordinate for that first election, whenever that is. And then it's supposed to be, if you're, a Nasara Jasara follower, technically within 120 days is when that first election should occur. It might be plus or minus, and I'm sure it'll be okay. And whoever comes out of that, okay, now we've got, the certification at the county level, the certification at the state level. Then you've got the January 6th type of certification that has to occur at the national level. And then comes the handshakes and the handoffs.
Right.
So Derek hands off to whoever gets elected as a New Hampshire justice. I hand off to whoever's appointed by the new president as Secretary of State. So I might have to hang out a little bit longer than like Derek, because mine isn't an elected position. It's an appointed one.
Okay.
So I have to wait until the president is in place. Congress is in place. They've got their Speaker of the House, their Senate President. All that stuff has to happen. So I'm going to be acting as Secretary of State until the president can go through the appointment process and go through the Senate, the appointment hearings and all the stuff like we see on, C-SPAN. And then once there's someone to hand off to, that's what'll happen.
Now,
So each and every one of us is going to do that happily. Happily. President Geiger has been president since September of 2012.
now,
And that's basically because we keep getting this infiltration and we keep losing our quorum, states and everything. And so it's kind of hard to have another election and another certification at the county, the state, and the national level. Yeah.
so
we're
Donald
we're
Trump
up.
has served twice,
Mhm.
and basically under the rules of the Constitution, may not be able to run again. Can he, within the
So let me speak
Republic,
to that.
how does that work?
Let me speak to that.
Okay.
And there's one question, and you're going to know the answer immediately. How many terms of office has Trump served in the Republic?
3.
In the
Okay.
Republic.
Oh, none. None.
Oh.
None.
So he's eligible for 2 terms. Well, here's the other thing. This republic represents bringing this country back to a starting point
Okay.
of December 19th of 1860. Why that date? Well, because we can pretty much be sure we had a healthy republic up until that date, because the next day, December 20th of 1860, South Carolina seceded from the Union, which you can't do. It's a perpetual union. So once you're in, you're in. And so we know that, you have cancer, you cut back to, healthy tissue.
Mhm.
That's the starting point. So every law, amendment, code, policy, 3-letter agency that came after that date, gone.
It's a lot of them.
And I always joke, it's like, we're going to have some exceptions because we're probably going to leave the FAA in place for a little while because I don't
I
want
hope
airplanes
so.
crashing.
No.
So, there'll be some exceptions.
Yeah.
And that's just basically for safety's purpose.
Okay.
But I'll give everybody homework. Go do a Google search, or I don't do Google. I do Brave. Brave browser is a really good browser. And ask it, what was the cabinet for President James Buchanan in 1860? You'll see like 12 people, not 2 million people, which is what we have now. So 95% estimated of the current government will be gone by that date. Now, here's another thing that's going on that maybe you guys don't know about. We in the Republic have sent a letter, for lack of a better term, to President Trump with a list of the strategic level things that we would do on our first day in the Republic. Okay, if the Republic is restored today, these are our tasks. This is what we would do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 26, 27, whatever it is, okay? Trump's doing them right now. Kind of cool, actually.
It is very.
You don't have to.
It's very cool, but it's also very confusing because people are looking at what is a corporation, or being told
Yeah.
we are a corporation and we've been so for so long. And I've even asked the question before, when did we decide to become a corporation? And I'm sure it was decided for us.
Well, I can tell a little bit of story on that.
Okay.
the reason why we got that fraudulent Organic Act of 1871, not passed by Congress, by the way, and it was not a Republic Congress after 1860 because the states started to leave the Union. So we had our Civil War debt coming due. Because when the North won the war against the South, the North had their war debt, the South had their war debt, but the winning side inherits both debts. We couldn't pay. And so therefore, the banksters, the banking gangsters, came to the Congress and said, here's how you can solve this problem. You're going to sign a deal with us where the Vatican and the city center of London, the financial district, which is what really runs the whole British Empire. It's not the king or the queen or anybody over there. That's who runs them, actually. They will run America because Washington, D.C. Incorporated, they are city-states. The Vatican has its own bank, army. You know, it's not part of Italy. It's its own little country, kind of, called a city-state. And the city center of London is the same. And so they just created Washington, D.C. city-state. And so there was a 3 city-state group. And so if you wonder why we've gone to all of these insane, useless, pointless wars, that's because we were told to. And we had to make up reasons and all this stuff. And that's how it's happened.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see a lot of questions flying up through the chats. Let me take a quick look over here.
Let's see. I know Michael Anthony typed a long thing in
All right,
that
Exodus.
I want to make sure I get addressed.
Yep. There's a lot of things happening right now that do line up with biblical expectations.
Okay.
That was the question before this one, but yeah, I agree with that. We're already at the point of the military law enforcement. It's just like third world countries. Others have to step in to litigate and correct the wrongs because the country can't do it for itself because of the invasion of the occupied ones controlling the narrative. I'm not quite sure I follow this. Let me see if I got a good handle on it. We have multiple problems. The first one is that if the country is a corporation, there's no arguing that. We've got plenty of evidence of that. Then it's purchasable. It's mergeable, right? And that's what's happened. And so, Vatican and City Center of London own us. Whoever's above that owns them. Whoever's above that owns them, right? It just keeps going. It's like, and you get down, you hear about Committee of 300, Committee of 30, Committee of 3. What are the 3 families? From Babylon, guys, is where this comes from. It's all the way back that far. And that's how much evil and how long it's been here is controlling all of this. And then they just put like little puppet people, like marching up here so that the ones that are way in the back don't get exposed. But they're being exposed slowly and surely.
They're not just going to walk away from the corporation, are they? I mean, this is going to be a heck of a battle.
They were actually given that opportunity, if you can believe that. If you will just take what you own and leave and let us fix the world, they said no. So they've signed their own death warrant, however long it takes.
That's the interesting
There's
part.
that aspect of the foreign influence, right? And then you've got the infiltration by...
The question.
All right, Derek, let me finish this thought, and then you can go with your question.
Sandy.
The infiltration by other countries,
Sorry.
like Israel.
Okay.
How many of our House and Senate members are actually dual citizens with Israel? Where does it say that you can have allegiances to other countries while you are serving this one?
No,
Nowhere.
you can't. You can't.
In fact, and here's more homework for your listeners. Go find the original 13th Amendment, the one that was actually passed in 1819, not the one that's on the books right now. They just like kicked out the original 13th Amendment and put the new one in place to free the slaves. Okay. Now, I am all for freeing the slaves.
Right.
But because we go back to 1860, there is no new 13th Amendment and 14th and everything that came after that. It goes back to the original 13th Amendment, which said no titles of nobility or honor or any other emolument accepted by, from kings or heads of state or, anything like that. And that includes everyone with dual citizenship that's serving in the government today. And the penalty is they lose their citizenship and can never hold an office at any level ever again. By the way, who has a title of nobility? Bar attorneys use the title Esquire because
Yes.
bar stands for British Accreditation Registry. It's a British title of nobility. So every attorney that's ever used the title Esquire has renounced their U.S. citizenship, their American citizenship. They didn't even know they did it, probably. They didn't even know that that bar meant that, but they took an oath to a foreign government. So that's what we represent in this republic.
Right.
And that's why we do not accept anyone with dual citizenship or has ever been a bar attorney or any of those things, because we are the bridge. We're going to use only strong wood to build that bridge. And because we are unsure about the strength of the wood of a bar attorney or anyone who's actually been in the corporate government, either appointed or elected, we're not accepting them for office. Of course, they can be an ordinary member, an ordinary elector in the republic, but that's as far as it'll go. We represent everyone, but a public servant, which is what we really are, and we comprehend that, of limited terms of office, we comprehend that.
Yes.
So yeah, and as soon as we get the republic restored and that handoff occurs, and all of the people in the interim republic hand off to the authentically elected republic people, the enormous task of rebuilding this country begins. Decades, if not generations, to fix the damage that's occurred over the last 150 years, 160 years, however long you want to look at it. So it's going to take everybody, and it's going to take massive amounts of education, because we, the people, are the government.
That's correct.
We are 95% of everything that happens in the government. We, the people. How many of you out there have actually looked at the Constitution lately? You don't even know if you are going to take an oath of office, what you're swearing an oath to, right? Go take a Constitution 101 course and relearn it. That is a very, very excellent first step. Of course, joining this republic would be a great second step or first step, and just switch them. I don't know. How do you want to do it?
An excellent first step.
Yep.
Join the republic first and then start the process of educating yourself.
Okay, let me see.
He did say, who tells us how to control war? Here it is. There it is.
Who tells us how to control war?
War.
You just said it.
You just said it.
Okay. So that's who controls the corporation and who controls the wars that the U.S. corporation does. Right now, that's the Vatican and the city center of London, the financial district, which is separate from London and separate from Great Britain. It's not part of the country. Okay. And then the folks above that, the committee of 300. The folks above that, the committee of 30. Above that is the committee of 3, which are the 3 main Babylonian families that have been running this entire operation into the ground for Satan, for the devil, for Baal, for whomever you want to name from the Bible. So that's where we're at. We're fighting true evil.
Okay.
So you better be strong of heart to be a public servant in this republic.
Strong of heart. Dr. Sandy Miarecki. Miarecki. I'm sorry. I butchered names. I know. I apologize for that.
It's never happened before, Dave.
It's never happened before. Okay. I'm sorry.
No.
I didn't mean to be the first.
My whole life. It's okay.
It's okay.
And I don't mind.
I have some experience with my last name, but we won't go there.
Right. So that's the basic plan. And then, so Derek alluded to this. This is where we need the most help.
Yep.
And that is the 3,143 counties, boroughs, and parishes in the country. We need to have county assemblies reformed because every level of government has been, trying to think of a nice word, not the one I'm thinking of, hold on.
Infiltrated.
Has been altered.
Okay.
To be a corporation. And more homework for your listeners, dunnandbradstreet.com, which is dnb.com,
Yep.
has a list of all the corporations in the world. It's like a registry. You will find Supreme Court Incorporated, USA Incorporated, White House Incorporated, NASA Incorporated, Pentagon Incorporated, Department of Defense Incorporated, Army Incorporated, Air Force Incorporated.
More corporations than you want to know.
State of Florida Incorporated.
I don't want to know about that one.
County of, name it, Incorporated. Yep. Every single one in this country is a corporation, which means it's not a republic, which means those are abandoned seats. We have to re-inhabit them. We have a way of doing that. It's a checklist. We give you some sample paperwork. It takes a couple of weeks, and you guys can put your county back in the republic. Major, major thing. We help you. We mentor you. But that is where you can help out the most. But you got to join, and you got to talk to your governor of your state in the republic. We do not talk to the corporation. We do not interact with them in any way, shape, or form. We call it poking the bear. We don't do that. So we're just in parallel, completely separate from the corporation, living amongst them. We can't help that, you know, but we stay away from them and their jurisdiction as much as we can and wait, as we've waited because we've been told, the last piece of the puzzle, that this was a 10-year plan. Well, did it start when Trump was elected, or did it start January of 2017 when he was sworn in? All I know is we're within a year of the supposed 10-year plan. This being the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence is a pretty big deal.
It is. And
it could be that this was the plan the whole time. Let's do everything for the semi-sesquicentennial. I can't remember what's the really long term that we have to use. But yeah, this is a Jubilee year. And so July 4th of this year is a big date.
Now, do the founding documents like the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, does all of that go to the Republic, or does the Republic have to recreate this country?
So now not the interim bridge republic, but the real republic, when it's restored and we have that first election and we all hand off.
Yep.
That republic, yes, is going to have an enormous job of rebuilding the country with help. I mean, we'll be advisors and stuff. It's not like we're going to say, see ya. Although many of us want to do that probably because we've been working so hard in the meantime. But that's the 10-year plan. And it's this year, guys.
Oh,
We've been waiting and waiting for when does someone start the clock, right? It's like, when does it tick, 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 right? And we think it started when either Trump got elected or when he took office. And so 2026 or 2027, this is it. I mean, this is the time to be getting into the Republic and getting your county back on the map. It doesn't take a lot of work. And especially because we've already figured it out for you. And all you have to do is follow the dots. So go to our website. Can I say that now?
I was just going to ask you to say that.
Good. Yes. We're on the same page.
We are.
All right. Someone should probably put this into the chat as well. republic4usa.org. Republic, FORUSA.org. That's a shortcut that'll take you to a long website address that begins with members. And there's a button that says register. We are apologies about that because every other word we could think of was like the same kind of a legal term. And we're trying to stay away from legal terms, right? Because we want to be lawful. We want to get away from attorneys and legal. We want to get back to constitutional law and lawyers. Separate those two terms. Yeah. So ORG. Okay. So Gerard, thank you for putting that up there. republicusa.org.
Jerry is very good at that.
Yeah. So that is it. And that is where you can get involved. And I mean, we're making history here, guys. This is what we're doing what we said we were going to do.
That's what we want to show.
And we're waiting for the right time for funding, for Trump to make an announcement, for someone to make an announcement and to say, that republic over there, that's where you guys need to be. That's the plan. We better have a plan for our website.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
We do. We have a way to very rapidly expand its input.
Good.
Because we had to have that ever since, we know it's coming, right? This is what we've been told.
Okay.
So we would love to have you come join us. And where are my veterans?
Where are your veterans?
Right? I'm retired Air Force.
You are.
Where are all the veterans?
We were going to give you an opportunity to tell the Sadie Miarecki story. Dr. Miarecki. Well, I mean, I didn't want to just blurt it all out. I figured you probably wanted to give your background.
Well, it's I could cover it in a whole podcast, but let me give you 2 sentences.
Okay.
So I watched the moon landings, 1969. Wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to do science in space. I thought it would be awesome. So my whole life was based on education, and I come from a poor family, so scholarships were super important. And went to school, went to ROTC, Air Force, and he's not holding the Air Force against me. Thank you very much, Gerard. No. So, but I figured, flying would be pretty cool.
He is a military person. I
figured.
I won't speak for him. But he is a military person.
So I became a pilot, instructor pilot, and test pilot because I found out that that's the best resume you can make, or at the time it was, to be an astronaut.
Yep.
At the time it was just the space shuttle, which was a little disappointing because I wanted to live on the moon and do science on the moon. I thought that's where we were going to be by the time I got that old, So anyways, so that's how I got into the Air Force. And injured by vaccines throughout my career. One in particular, probably that, I can look back now, it probably did me in. I still don't know what it was. And barely made it to retirement at 20 years. Had to figure out what to do with my life after that. And so I realized that with my instructor background and my love of science, why don't I be a physics professor? Well, I didn't have a PhD in physics, so I had to go back to school, got another master's, and then my PhD, and got hired at the Air Force Academy in Colorado. So I was teaching there happily, and then COVID comes along. And I had lived through the anthrax BS in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I watched them repeating it. And I'm telling them, you guys, you can't do any of this stuff. Didn't you read any of the law, the court cases and whatever? You know, Doe v. Rumsfeld, 2003 in particular, shut the program down. So being ignored was an interesting problem. And that's what really started to wake me up. And so that's when I started to realize the total corruption of what was going on and the lies that we were told about COVID and viruses, and how they don't cross the Canadian border with two towns that are right next to each other and stuff like that. It's just nuts. So anyways, I eventually got fired because I knew too much. They had to lie about me in order to fire me. And so I sued them for whistleblower retaliation and illegal firing. The judge was totally bought off and went against me on the decision. And so now I'm in the appeal process with the U.S. Circuit Court. And there's enough in my case that a lot of constitutional rights were violated. And so this could, if it doesn't go properly with the U.S. Circuit Court, go to the Supreme Court. And we are prepared for that to happen if it does. So I asked God as I was getting fired, where do you want me to go now, sir? Because I don't know what you want me to do. I thought you wanted me to teach at the Air Force Academy. Well, he did. He needed me to be there for COVID because I was helping anyone and everyone who wanted to do a religious exemption. It's like, yeah, it's in the regulations, you guys go read it. And so that's what I was doing. And I was told not to. They can't tell me that because I'm helping someone with their rights under the law. Anyways, God gave me enough signs. Then he said, you need to go join the Republic. So as soon as I was fired, I started to take on official positions in Colorado to begin with. Then I realized that the altitude and 7,000 feet is not a really fun place to live. And with all my health problems, I decided to move to low altitude, and I already had property in East Texas where I am now. And I up and moved, and this is where I'm operating out of now. So that's
So Texas is set up with the Republic. The five offices in each county are already there, or
so
getting close?
Each state is in its own variety of, its own level of resettlement or reinhabitation.
Okay.
So Texas is one of the more mature states right now. They've got an outstanding governor who is very motivational to all the folks and getting the county settled. We also have quite a few infiltrators here in Texas because Texas is so important and because Texas was doing such a great job. The three-letter agencies sent in some of their top infiltrators into Texas and are tricking a lot of the people to try to follow. But it's not working out so well for them, which is awesome because Texas people are pretty darn smart. So.
Okay.
And so we've got some states right now with the infiltration from last year. And this is one this year. It's just, they're coming more frequently now, which to us means, I wonder if we're getting close to the finish line here. And so we've got a couple of states with no representation at all, and a couple of states with full up representation and, about to start state assemblies and everything. So it's just hit and miss as to what state you're actually in.
How many states are there if you don't want to name them, how many states are there that are active?
So there's, so if we go by the number of states with zero representation in this original republic.
Okay.
Because we don't have a governor, but we might have a senator. You see what I'm saying? So if I don't count that one, because there's a senator in that state.
Yeah.
I'd say we have somewhere around 8 or 9, maybe 10 that don't have anybody.
Okay.
And all the other states have somebody or are very mature. So states like Texas,
Mhm.
Wisconsin, Nebraska, very mature states, Colorado, I could go on, but so, and then we've got other states that we lost the whole group because the governor ended up being tricked, and then he tricked all of his people to follow him. And so, if you don't have the proper discernment that God gave you, then you're not in Gideon's army. You're not going to be the ones to come with us.
So we want to be in the army.
You want to be in the army.
Want to be in the army. Okay. Anything else you want?
Gerard. All right, we'll go with that.
Well, I understand once you're in the Marines, you're in the Marines forever.
Well, yeah. I mean, that goes with what goes with anything.
Yeah.
When you take a military oath of office, it never ends.
Yep.
And there's probably people that are very disillusioned by their military service. I know I had to come to terms with mine. And that's basically, was everything that I did on orders of banksters? Did I do anything good for my country? I mean, I had to reconcile with that. And everyone that's ever been in the military has to do that. So if you're feeling that way, come join us. We have a whole bunch of military veterans in a special chat where you can find out, who do you know? Oh, there you are. I wondered whatever happened to you, that kind of thing. And, can tease each other, Air Force. Yeah, the air conditioning Air Force, right? And and the Marines making fun of us. That's okay.
Well, they are.
We're all right with that.
I won't join them. I wanted to be a Marine, but it's a long story as to why I'm not. So
everything happens for a reason in God's plan.
That's okay.
Yeah. If you had been in the Marines, Dave, we probably never would have met.
We probably would not have ever met.
So there you go.
But all right. Let's see. You said 8 o'clock. I said 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever. Anything else you want to tell anybody who is listening?
Well, if you want to put a question in the chat real quick, I've got a few minutes. But in closing, we only get one chance at this.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. We all feel that. And for those of you that have been praying, God, what do you want me to do to help this country? I'm just one little old me. This is it, guys. This is what you've been praying about. You've been praying about this republic. This is God's republic. When our founding fathers created that Constitution, well, the Declaration of Independence was the start. That was God-driven, okay? And then the Constitution was a covenant with God because they took the concepts of a republic from the Bible. These are biblical principles that this country was established on, and that's what we're trying to go back to.
Okay.
So there is a renaissance, there is a reawakening of this country, going back to God's principles, and that's where we all need to go. Derek.
Hold on just a moment. There we go.
Somebody said, let's hear from Derek. Derek.
Derek, you have been kind of quiet. Got anything to add?
Okay, well, Dave, can you guys hear me okay? Because I have a wicked delay.
Not very well. Come on up, back up and forward again.
Yeah. You got to come back up
Can you
forward.
hear me?
There you go. Yes.
Yeah, much better now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Now.
Okay, because Dave mentioned earlier about the decadence in the Bill of Rights. I just want you to mention, or I'll mention, Sandy, it's fine, no matter who mentions it. The Republic has a declaration of sovereign intent and a proclamations of claim and interest. Okay? Sandy can speak a little bit about that before we go. So that's one thing. And then, you know, if anybody on here is wondering, okay, what I need to do to get involved and be part of the Republic, God's Republic, you go to the website, you sign up as a member, Sandy, and let on that page or on that website, you know, just make a note in there that you want to volunteer for a seat, which is an interim seat only, temporary, part of the team. Sandy will get a hold of you, your governor, if you know, whatever needs to be done. What will happen through the vetting process is you are required to get through the Re-inhabited Volume 2 from Jean Hertler, and that she's the author, and we hope to have her on here sometime. You have to get through that, then you'll go through a vetting committee. Now, here's where I want to really be very clear. Anybody that comes to the Republic, we don't know what religion you are. It's not about religion. As long as you're not worshiping Lucifer in the sun god, S-U-N, not S-O-N. We worship S-O, not the S-U-N, number one. So basically, have a godly moral compass. That's what we care. That's what this Republic represents. And so many people from the time I've been affirmed in that is people are mistaken religion and the religion and the state and all this stuff about religion here. There's thousand religions. We have one creator, and we're all under this same creator. And in this Republic, once you get vetted, you're going to receive one of these. This will be your appointment letter, and if you notice the flag, and Sandy can speak a little bit about the flag as well. Some people might say, well, that's not Old Glory. Well, Old Glory was hijacked, and Old Glory is actually a battle flag, and we've been at battle all our lives. This is our final battle. Like Sandy mentioned, we have one chance, and it's not about us adults here, guys. We are part of being asleep at the wheel, and every one of us are. So no one's to blame else, or you were more cause than I was in that. We're all equal in this. And when Sandy mentions there's no slavery, well, that's because our Constitution states in it very clearly that all men are created equal. And that means women, men, all of us. Level playing ground. Okay? None of us are better than the other. It's a matter of just having a good moral compass, volunteering for your position to be, and I don't want to say join or anything. What I say is be part of the family, the Republic family. It's God's Republic. And if you come in and you feel it's not for you and you want to resign, we expect you to resign honorably. And it doesn't mean put it out publicly. You do it honorably by writing a letter or some sort of resignation and sending it either directly to Sandy or President Geiger. There's no need, and it's unacceptable to be putting your discord out for the whole team to be all confused about and everything else. It's unacceptable. Okay, so that we do have an ethics. You know, we do follow ethics here. And number one, first and foremost, is being honorable to your brother and sister. We are all family here, guys. And not one of us is going to change this world. But every one of us can put a little bit in, and we'll get a whole lot further when we all do that together in unity. And, you know, and here's the thing, Dave and viewers, we are servants. If we accept a position and we are vetted in and when we receive our appointment letter, we are under an oath of office, and like Sandy says, that doesn't expire even when we hand the baton off. Okay, that doesn't expire even with us. But right now, we're servants. And why we're servants is because the people at the bottom level, at the local level, they're the government. And is the governance. We are a republic form of government. We're not and this republic is a one-party system. It's not a divided system. So get out of your Republican, your Democrat, all your division, your religion. Get rid of the division mindset and come stand with your brothers and sisters and have each other's back. And that's what it's all about. And when you, and the ones that we call the splinters or whatever, okay, we let them go do their thing, pretend, play house, whatever they're doing, because you cannot take a with you when you go. It is, you can move yourself from the republic, but you cannot take the republic with you. And when you, if you decide to resign, it doesn't mean you take the ball and go, somebody else can play, because that don't work with us. Because we keep going because we have a mission. And the mission we have is to preserve the country and nation. And it goes outside of us, but not for just us, but for our generations coming up behind us. And if that, it's good, because that's what it's supposed to do in a good way. And a positive, just come be part of the family and be part of the God's republic. And I'll yield with that. Sandy, if you want to discuss anything that I mentioned, feel free. And
we're gonna do this over. We're gonna do this over the next 3 weeks, and Derek had told me, and I probably have forgotten, but I know the lady that wrote the 2 books that you talked about the first time. I know she's scheduled to come on, and the farmers. One farmer. No.
Gene's not scheduled in yet, Dave. I've got to still talk to Gene, so let's not get the gun on. But next
we don't
is the farmers. John and Misty Bird. John Bird is retired U.S. Navy, so he's also a veteran. He'll talk a little bit about it, what he can. Right now, he's running or attending a dairy farm with over 200 cattle. He makes he doesn't use chemicals for his fertilization, and these are things we're going to discuss. He also makes ethanol, gasoline, or methanol, whatever it is. So they're working on that. And there's some other things that are going to come out on that show, as long as John feels okay and comfortable, and he'll tell his story. But if anybody that, and here's some more homework for you. If you look up the Texas Rangers and you look up John Bird of 1839, he was killed at battle. That's John that's going to be on next week. That's his ancestors. That's who he's named after. His land was actually stolen from him out in Texas, his family's land. And if he's able to discuss that a little bit, he will. But from what I comprehend with the story is that it's now a military base. So I don't want to get too far into that, because I don't need anybody in black SUVs showing up here.
No.
But anyway, Sandy, but Jean is not scheduled in yet. I'll let you know once I talk to her and get confirmation. But Governor, I'm also in talks with Governor Carpenter, which has been here for the long haul with the Republic, and he's the interim governor of Colorado. So we're hoping to have him on, and not next week, but the week after. So we'll confirm that with everybody. And Sandy, I appreciate you coming on again. And Dave's more than welcome to bring you on a monthly show and an update for the Republic. And I'm going to yield. But if there's anything that I discussed, Sandy, that you want to touch base on, feel free. And
Okay. Okay.
So come join us.
Come join us. That's all she has to say. Just come join us.
If you're looking for your family, you know, if you're surrounded by woke people that won't wake up, can come with all the awakened people. This is your awakened family. We have, you know, about Signal and Telegram and, you know, chat apps like that. We use Wire. And so we have lots of chats, and you can share information and commiserate with your fellow family members about, you know, how your regular family members are totally not paying attention. They will eventually. It'll be up to you to kind of ease the transition when that comes. So a lot of people are going to be shocked, you know, when they find out, you mean you were telling me the truth the whole time? Duh.
We're going to make the transition very easy.
It'll probably be pretty easy. By the time we get to it, because everyone's being awakened at different times and with different methods, the whole 4 years of Biden was an awakening.
Joe Biden wasn't awake during those 4 years.
Well, it wasn't Joe Biden, but we won't go there.
We probably could, but that would
Central
be
casting.
more than the time that we have left.
Yes.
As
I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a pay attentionist.
I could feel the people that maybe he was sleeping in that pose on the beach, but other people I know say he visited Gitmo and never came back. But I don't know.
Well, all I know is the guy from 2016 looks like a mafioso. And the guy that supposedly took over in 2021 looks like a younger brother, maybe.
I don't know why anyone would want to wear that mask. That's about all I can say.
There's like a couple of them that I think had the plastic surgeries or the whatever, and then there was the ones that had the mask. So there were at least 3 of them.
Okay.
Of different heights, you know. Jill had
That's true.
different heels.
There were several heights. Excuse me, Derek, what did you say?
did you see Melania with the robot? The post with Melania with the robot that she had. Did you see that? Well, that robot, just like Joe Biden. Yeah. Well, that robot, CGI, whatever it might be, walked like Biden. Like, you know, I mean, it is what it is. He didn't even know he was shot yet, but here we are, and there is one thing I want to clarify too, because a lot of people get all hung up on this 30,000 needed, thinking we need 30,000 people per state to stand up to do all that. Worrying 1,000 is putting the carriage before the horse. And we can't get hung up on that, because I'm telling you right now, if the military decides to come stand up the republic, no matter how many people we have seated, when the military announces this republic, everybody is going to be part of the republic. So we're going to automatically get our 30,000. So don't worry about the 30,000, guys. Worry about your first 8 state seats. That's your first task within your state. Then worry about working as a team, getting your counties seated, at least 1 seat in a county, so that county officer or servant can work in their county, getting more people to that. Baby steps to a better tomorrow. Okay, this all didn't happen overnight. We're not going to change the world overnight, but I'll tell you right now, if we don't step into these shoes right now that Sandy and I are in and others are in and doing a great job, if we don't step up, step out, and help out, we are letting our children and our grandbabies down. If you're willing to let your grandbabies and your children down and do nothing, then it's time to look in the mirror reflect on self, not who's over there and who's over there doing this and doing that. Reflect on self and say, nope, unacceptable. Failure is not an option. What do I need to do? Where do I go sign up? How do I become part of this family? You know the website, republicusa.org, and you can go in there. All documents are there. Everything in this republic it's the first in time, first in line, one and only lawful republic. You can't have more than one, and it's all been filed internationally. And most people don't comprehend the magnitude of that. And when you listen or read the Re-Inhabited Volume 2, there is the audio version. So if you're looking to get vetted quick, do the audio and help out Gene and purchase a book to read, because it's good to be able to keep notes in it, mark important things in it. But the audio will get you through quicker and get you into the vetting process quicker. And right now, we are in an urgency to fill these seats. Remember, like Sandy said, the Republic only laid and sat dormant. We've always had a Republic. It just was dormant, and it was vacated as seats. It is Northwest Ordinance /1 Statute 50 that is the mechanism for the transition. And in order to get from point A to point B, there's that dash is the transition out of the corporation back in the republic that we are supposed to be. And republic, if anybody thinks this, republic, we're all public, okay? We have one almighty source, and we are the resource of the almighty source. So when you think of republic, it's the public. Though they are the government. Also, Sandy and I both wear a hat of the people as well. So at our counties where we occupy and we live, we are the people in that county. Even though Sandy is National Secretary of State, still wears a people hat too when it is fit. Right now, her duty as a servant takes precedence of being a people. And that's because what we're doing is in an honorable way, and we put ourselves aside and we put the people first. But God's always first, and if God's not in first place, everything else is out of place. And I don't care what religion you have, what your beliefs are, have a good moral compass and work with your team. It's a team effort, and teamwork makes the dream work. I'll yield with that. Sandy's time is running out, and she has a busy life ahead of her. So I'm going to yield.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Derek, and being here and helping us out. And Sandy, take it away.
I've got nothing to add. Derek's done a great job tonight.
He did. I'm glad. I'm glad he was here. I hope we touched upon enough to get everybody going. And as we said, come back in the next coming weeks and months, and we will tell you more. And if you have a question, stop us in the process, ask the question. We'll do our best to get it on. And that's all I can say.
Have a great night.
All right. You have a great night too. All right. Let's see. We don't have an outro, so we just wrap it up. But we're low budget here. It's just really simple, really simple. So I thank you for coming, Sandy, and I know that you will be back because I know that there's more information to get from you. And anyway, tell everybody who's listening where you're going to be next.
Yeah, the best thing is to recruit your awake patriot family and friends. It doesn't matter if they're in your county, in another state, or whatever. That is, we can get them in contact with the state representatives wherever they live. People that you know would do a great job with this. Maybe they don't even know about us, and you can tell them about us, share this podcast or any other podcasts, and let them know that we're here.
All right, and you will be back, I'm sure. And we will have
Sure.
you back as often as you want to come back. You're welcome anytime.
All right. Thank
All
you,
right.
Dave.
All right, Sandy. Thank you for coming in. Let's see. Go to the website, republicforusa.org. Any questions that you have, come back and ask them, and we will do our best to answer them for you. Very simply, very easy. No tests. Unless Sandy, the instructor, decides that there is going to be a test.
God bless.
All right, Sandy, thank you. Let's see. Let me do it. Wait a minute. I gotta cut back this way. All right, Sandy. There we go. All right. It was kind of a little bit mishmatic at times, and I apologize to everybody for that. We'll get the bugs all worked out as we do it again. Tomorrow you will not see a Boogie with the Bull Red Friday Morning Caffeine at 10 a.m. Eastern because I can't do it because I won't be here. So we will either throw it on later or we will throw it on later. We'll see. Make sure you watch The American Rebellion with Jerry Michaels and the crew. I'm there a lot. But I want to thank Jerry for helping us with some of the help we needed tonight, some of the comments, catching the comments and typing them in so that everybody could see them. It's highly appreciated. We were live tonight on my profile on Facebook, and we were live on the YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/@ that's a shifted to Dave Glovin, and makes it very easy for everybody to find the Boogie with the Bull channel. If you don't know, just ask me and I'll tell you because it's so dang easy to remember. Other than that, I think we told you all of it. So we're going to fly up here to this corner.